Hi, welcome to the Craft Channel. My name's Corinne Brad and today I want to show you a way to keep your hands slightly cooler and your coffee slightly hotter when you're drinking from a disposable coffee cup or one of these melamine coffee beakers with a little mug wrap. So this is the red panda we've got here. I've also got designs for a multicoloured cat and also a Hufflepuff badger. Very simple to make, and it's just with felt, and it's with very simple over sewing and blanket stitching. If you can't blanket stitch, you can just over sew. No one's going to notice. So we'll start, in fact let's just pop him down here because otherwise he's going to fall over. We'll start by showing you how to make the perfect sleeve for your cup, because not all cups are the same. There's various different coffee shops that you can get, you know, the paper cups from. And although they're quite well insulated, sometimes they're not as well insulated as you like. But if you get yourself an old cup or a beaker, and if you simply wrap a piece of A4 paper around this beaker, use your elbow to hold it in place while you grab the sellotape. Oh, and tape it up along the side, so your cup fits nicely in the sleeve. If you just trim around this top edge with your paper scissors, so it's relatively flat and you can turn it upside down. But of course you don't want the whole sleeve because you're going to be drinking from that. So grab a pencil and hold it in your fist quite tightly, and then just spin this round, keeping your hand the same height to get the bottom edge, and then to get the top edge, rest your hand on something, keep it in the same position, and again spin the cup round to get that line. Oh, good job there, Melanie. And if you slide the sleeve off, you can then cut along your pencil line in a nice straight line. And this looks really rough and ready at the minute, but you'll see why we've done it. I'm going to cheat with this other one, because you should have a perfect, move this out of the way, you should have a perfect sort of cut. You can see where I've cut, that line is matching up to the back of that. So we'll do the same with this. So you've got a template for a sleeve that fits your cup perfectly, and it's the right angle. Actually, I've cut that a bit low. But what you would do to make your template is keep it sellotaped together and just snip here. And this will be your template for the base of your mug wrap. So here is one I've prepared earlier from card. Base colour, let's have a nice bright red this time. Place your template on your felt, and this is a soft 2B drawing pencil, and the reason I use a 2B is because you don't have to press so hard and you don't risk shifting the felt underneath your template as you're drawing around it, because it's a nice soft line. If you've got tailor's chalk or dressmaking pencil, you know, like the sort of disappearing ink pens, not pencil at all, is it? You can use that, but if you've got nothing else to hand, a 2B pencil works beautifully. Just tuck that under there, and then cut your felt out with a decent pair of dressmaking scissors. I always remember in my home economics class at school, my home ec teacher always used to say, don't ever pick fabric up and cut it in midair. You should always cut it on a flat surface. And she was right, because you get a much cleaner cut. Your fabric doesn't sort of flop about. You can't accidentally get one bit of fabric caught underneath another. And if you can use a larger pair of scissors, when you're cutting things like a curve, you get a much smoother line. Here we go. So this is a base for your felt sleeve, and flip it over so that if there are any pencil marks you don't see them. And what I'm just going to do is fold that in half and put a pin on the fold so I know where the centre of that sleeve is. So to create our little red panda, I've got some templates. If you have a look at the description, you can see where you can download them to create your own red panda. And I'm going to do him a different colourway to that one. So I've got a nice piece of wine coloured felt. Now if I was to use a 2B pencil on this wine coloured felt, it really wouldn't show up very well, and especially in poor light you wouldn't be able to see it that easily. These are Sakura Stardust pens, and they're a very fine glitter pen, and they dry quite quickly. This is like a coppery gold colour I'm using, and I've found, especially on felt, it leaves enough glitter residue around the outside that you can see where you're cutting even on the darkest fabric. It works beautifully on black, because even sometimes chalk pencils won't work well on black. So again, let's just roughly cut this out in midair, just like my home economics teacher told me not to do. With fiddlier shapes like this, sometimes you've got to do it in midair, but with felt, it's not as floppy as, you know, cotton or poplin or something like that, so it should hold its shape. I'm just going to quickly cut this out. And this will form the base face of your red panda. Oh, still got a bit more to go. There you go. So in order to hold it in place, I would recommend you use something like what I call a dry glue stick, because you just want something to hold it without it shifting as you're sewing. I'm just going to double check what my red panda looks like, because I'd hate to put his face on upside down. So pop him here, and where that pin is, that's the dimple in his chin. I've used white and black felt to now cut out more pieces of my panda, just in the same way, either with a 2B pencil or with a gel pen, like a glitter gel pen. Pop his face on like this, and then his nose can just pop there. And then these are his, I don't know what you call these bits, like his eye masks almost. And it's how you position these can change the whole expression of your red panda. Looking at him, I think perhaps the lower you put them, these little cheek pieces, the more morose your red panda will look. I'm just going to take that out of there, because you can see this flat one here. Yeah, we'll just pop them there. Couple of little eyes, and again, you'll know this if you've ever made soft toys or teddy bears or things like that. The positioning of the eye on an animal can change its expression completely. So they're quite low. I'm going to put these a little bit higher, not a lot higher. And then we'll just pop his ears. And we'll pop his ears like this. And his ears can extend from the top edge of your mug wrap and try and make them as symmetrical as possible. So they're all tacked in place nicely without the need for pins, and it doesn't distort the layer of your fabric. Then what you will need to do is you will need to stitch over the top. Now I'm not going to sew all of this because it will take a while, but what I recommend you do is you use 2 strands of embroidery thread, because then you get a nice clean stitch that's visible, but it's not really overpowering. And if you use a sharp needle with a large eye, oh, the knot's in the end of that already, and then quite simply just over sew around your eyepieces and around all the pieces, and try and use a matching thread for the bit that you're stitching. Gives a much better effect. And also, because I'm now sewing through 3 thicknesses of felt, you get a nice quilted look to it, even though it's, you know, it's not really quilted, but you get that almost applique, you know, quilted applique effect. And you would sew all around here. The other thing that you would do as well, just to give a bit of life to your flat red panda, is highlights in the eyes. They make such a difference. Just 2 simple stitches across the top of the iris of the eye, and all of a sudden it comes to life. It's got a glimmer in his eye. So I'm not going to sew all of that. I am just going to very simply say to you that when you have finished and all these pieces are sewn together, if you just join up these edges of your felt, and you can pin these because you're not having to sew any flat stuff. And then you would simply oversew it with red thread, but you know, by oversewing I mean just this. You're just going diagonally across it. To make the seam at the back. I'm not going to do any more than that. I'm going to show you on this one. This one's been done in red, and blanket stitch around the top and the bottom. It is quite important to blanket stitch around the top and the bottom, because what it will do is it will stop your felt stretching. While this isn't blanket stitched, you've got quite a lot of give in that, but the stitching will hold it much tauter, and then you can just slip it onto your cup, drink from it like this. And also, if you use darker colours, if you do tend to dribble when you're drinking a coffee, it won't show up so much. But once these are all stitched in place, you can then just give them a quick rinse in cool water. I wouldn't suggest anything over 40 degrees because it is felt. And there you have it. So have a look underneath my video to find out where you can download the templates for all 3 designs of your mug cozies, and have fun keeping your coffee warm this winter. If you've been inspired to create, please share your makes with us in the comments section below. And if you've enjoyed videos by the Crafts channel, hit the like button. Want to see more of us? Then click subscribe. See you next time.